Watch out for snakes!
I thought we said we'd never do that joke.
That wasn't a joke, it was a reference. I have no airs that was a joke.
Just repeat to yourself, hey, it's just a show. I should really just relax. For mystery science theater, 3000.
Yep, here we are.
Hi.
Today we're talking about Eegah.
Welcome back to Journey into Mystery, which has had a bit of a delay, but this is also sort of turning into a what the hell's up with us vlog.
Yes.
Yes, the last couple weeks I've been mostly going between home and Arizona helping family things, but one day there was funness. It was a busy and hot day, but it was funness because if you saw on the social medias, I got to hang with Allison Pregler for a day in Arizona because she was vaguely in the neighborhood.
Oh, that's cool.
And we got to shoot a thing that will show up on her channel at a later date.
Awesome. I had one of my semi-annual emotional breakdowns.
Yay!
But I'm feeling much better now.
And then I got sick like a couple days ago from exhaustion
Yeah, a lot
from
of
all
that.
the Arizona.
A lot of that going around.
So we're doing fantastic, let me tell you.
We ain't dead yet.
Nope.
It-
Despite
Oh.
various best efforts.
Ah.
No, we're trucking forward, and this is like the first episode I would say that we've done something that I would call a big episode.
Yeah, this is one of the ones that was on the old VHSs.
Yeah. It's just a memorable episode in general. Whoo boy. Eegah.
Eegah. Yeah, it has a very appropriate name because that's really all you feel like saying about it is Eegah.
Yeah. It's such a... I am honestly kind of surprised we didn't see Arch Hall Jr. At least once more in Mystery Science.
Yep.
One of his other later films, Wild Guitar, which I have seen, was apparently under consideration for season 7, but I'll be honest, having seen it, I wouldn't sacrifice any of the movies in season 7 for that one.
Okay.
I remember it because back, this was either like late high school or post high school, back in the Mesozoic era. Me and my friends, we would have, a cheesy movie night. So we'd go to Blockbuster Video, which existed in the Paleolithic era, and just see what we could find. And Wild Guitar is one of them, and it has Arch Hall. And this one is in black and white, too, so oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
In which Arch Hall plays a kid who is a rock sensation, and it's all about the evils of fame because the agent he signs on with is unscrupulous.
This is a problem that Arch Hall Jr. would never actually have to face.
No. And yeah, mostly what I remember is that his character was named Bud Eagle, and so his fans would wear eagle feathers. Sure.
Okay.
I mean, it's not as dumb as some real trends of the time, I'm sure. And there was a character who was a villain character named Steak. Steak.
Steak.
Yeah.
Steak. Are we sure that he didn't have a run-in with Joe Biden at some point?
I don't know. Him and Corn Pop.
Ah, jeez.
There's your topical depression for today.
Topical humor.
We're all gonna die. No, just kind of looking up Arch Hall stuff. He didn't star in that many movies. Apparently, a lot of it. This is me extrapolating a little, but it seems like a lot of what was happening was his father had envisioned according to Wikipedia, his father had envisioned an Elvis-like movies and music career for him.
Which is a lot to lay on a kid who looks like he should be a soft-serve ice cream mascot.
Yeah. I do love that that Arch Hall's Wikipedia main image is that pic of him from Eegah, where the Joel and the Bot's initial reaction is just ah. But no, he was in a couple of really turds, and then like I want to say this only lasted about 5 years or so. I should probably look at it, but like by the 70s, he was out of it, and he went on to become a commercial pilot, and just flew planes.
Oh, like an actual commercial pilot, not like a.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a pilot for a commercial. He flew airplanes for a living.
At least he did something good with his life.
Good on him.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, good on him.
He probably had some stories about all those movies his dad made him do.
Yeah, and he had a band that didn't really do too great, but apparently somebody in that band went on to write a handful of #1 hits in the 70s, so good on that guy.
Yep. But that has very little to do with the experience of Eegah.
Which is just unpleasant. We'll hit on this when we get to the sketches, but I can really tell that the brains needed to vent and cleanse themselves from this movie, because oh boy, doesn't help that it's slow and boring.
Oh, it develops new definitions for slow.
Did you actually watch the full version this time around?
No, I didn't.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
I've said this many times. I've said this about several episodes, and I have to say it again. This is a case where the base movie is as long as the Mystery Science episode.
What did they cut?
Oh, they actually cut a fairly significant amount of crap, but there was a lot of wandering cut as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of wandering in this film.
There's so much. Also, I'm curious about the cut that Mystery Science had, because I tried to watch a couple different cuts, or a couple different uploads or whatnot. Hey, it's in the public domain, it's legal.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is the Mystery Science version has like some sequences that aren't in the uncut versions I was seeing. I mean, there's nothing dramatic, there's nothing long, it's just there's some establishing shots. Like when, after the first song at the pool, when Roxy walks up to answer the phone, in the cuts I've seen, in the unriffed cuts I've seen, it just kind of cuts right to the phone sequence. And there's a bunch of little things like that, and there's also some weird film grain or film artifacing in the Mystery Science cut that isn't in others, although the color is much better. So, I don't know.
Well, according to this, it was released under multiple titles, so who knows?
Yeah, there's no significant huge, aside from the stuff that the brains just slashed, it's not like it was significantly redone. So, I don't know.
The most remarkable thing that I saw from the Mystery Science Theater, the Wikipedia entry on this, is that this was apparently classified as a horror movie?
I could jokingly say I see it, not for the reasons that you would normally classify something a horror movie.
Yeah, it does not fit the genre. Just a...
No, it doesn't. I mean, it's horrifying, but it's not horror.
Literally nothing scary happens in the entire film.
Unless you count Richard Keel's tongue florping out to lap up shaving cream, which is, pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
I gotta say, Richard Keel in this movie was only about 23. Once they take the fake beard off him, I gotta say, he doesn't look bad.
No, he's just, looks like an extremely tall dude.
Yeah. He's got a few big features in the face, but otherwise, it's not, he's not an ugly man in any capacity.
He's not like, Zadar.
He's no Rondo Hatton by any stretch.
Yeah.
But he's one of those people who just kind of got leathery as they aged.
Mm-hmm. He reminds me a lot of a particular type of face that was popular in teenage movies in the 60s. The kind of like goofy but still kind of handsome dude. It's just he's like a foot and a half taller. It's like he just got scaled up.
Yeah. I did find out that he was originally considered to play the Incredible Hulk in the television series and actually shot some stuff. But then they decided he wasn't really muscular enough. Oh, hello, doggy. How did you get in here? You're gonna clickety-clack through my vlog? Okay. Yeah, he wasn't muscular enough, and also he hated doing the makeup, and apparently he can only really see out of one eye.
Huh.
So the contacts were particularly bad for him, so he was like, no, I'm good, I'm out.
Okay. Well, probably turned out for the best. Lou Ferrigno turned in a great performance on that.
Yeah, Keel had a... Thank you, Hoshi. He had a decent career afterwards, so,
And Richard Keel's turning down that role led to one of the touching moments between me and my father, where he took me to a gym to get it where Lou Ferrigno was doing a signing, because I love the Incredible Hulk. And I got to meet Lou Ferrigno when I was like, 6 or 7.
Nice.
And let's see. If anyone is unclear about what Eegah is about, it's about watching things happen very slowly. About water.
Over a long period, just the scenes. It's King Kong put through a boring of fire.
Yeah, and just
Jesus, dog, how much noise do you plan on making? We don't have any carpets here, so his nails just clackety-clackety-clack.
And all of the stock footage.
Oof.
Like, all the animals that are stock footage, and...
You will get to know Bronson Canyon very, very intimately through this movie.
If we hadn't already gotten to know Bronson Canyon from all the other movies.
Yeah, it's because at one point Crow actually makes it to your left, the Robot Monsters set, and I don't know if they quite realized that. Yes, they were. I was actually wondering if that was the Robot Monster cave that Eegah goes in, but I don't think it is.
No, I don't think it is, because they actually kind of dressed up that cave for Eegah.
Oh no, that cave is not. That cave is an indoor set.
Well, yeah.
No, the outer cave.
Oh, the outer cave. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's the one from the Robot Monster was bigger.
Yeah, but it was definitely Bronson Canyon, where many Mystery Science and other TV, like all the Star Trek's TV shows, shot in Bronson Canyon.
That's where Kirk fought the Gorn.
Well, all the Star Treks, Next Generation. Well, let's see. I've got the list. Yeah. Deep Space Nine, Enterprise, Next Generation, Original Series, and Voyager all had... It was the location of the Bat Cave from the Adam West Batman show.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers shot there. It's one of those places I've kind of been tempted to go see if I could, just day trip up there and check it out.
Yeah, it's in so many things, and for very obvious reasons.
Yeah. Until I moved out here, I was not really aware of just how close Bleak Desert really is to major developed areas out here.
Yeah,
I'm actually living on the base of a couple of mountains. It's a little distressing.
Well, I remember from all the times that I would trip out there with you for BotCons and stuff, the weirdest thing about it is just like, oh, look, there's just mountains in the distance.
Yeah.
Just
huge fucking rocks.
We have hills and and things like that. I mean, we're not Kansas. Oklahoma actually does have a topography to speak of.
You do have some rolling hills.
Mm-hmm. Especially where I am, because we're like right at the base of the Ozarks. Where they've had time to weather down, but
yeah, And when I was in North Carolina, you had a bunch of rolling, and then you had the Appalachians, which are very compact mountains.
Yeah.
And they kind of come up, fairly quickish. But and then you're done. But no, out here it's just hours of nothing, so close by. But apparently Bronson Canyon and the caves, were really close by, so they're really easy for productions to go shoot in.
Yeah. The fact that, well, the one thing that did offend me was when they were talking about how long do you think Eegah's been here? It's like, well, do those cave paintings remind you of anything? Those caves in France? Like, I am sorry, but you cannot make that comparison with the caves in France. The artwork in those is beautiful, amazingly anatomically correct, and has actually granted insight into like ancient fauna that we would not have gotten otherwise.
And also, just how has he been there that long and never encountered a car? How?
Yeah.
Like, I realize that there's a lot out there, but if he's meandering around as he appears to be, he would have been discovered, quite a while ago.
Well, probably by several film crews, given the location.
Maybe the real Gorn was the Richard Keels we met along the way.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is that they encounter a caveman that kidnaps them and, attempts to hold one of them to become his unwilling bride.
Mm-hmm.
And they escape him after, after Mr. Tasty Freeze whips a rock at his head and several other things. And their thing is, well, we can't tell anyone about him because the place would be covered with hunters looking for him. Good? I'm sorry, but if you found that there was a single living specimen of an ancient human lineage, you would want to get actual anthropologists and things out there to make sure that no one just shoots him.
Yeah.
Because he's the single most valuable scientific discovery of the century at that point, at least in the area of human biology.
Yeah.
Like, if we actually found someone who was even 20% Neanderthal, that would be an amazing discovery.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to the 3% that, you and I are, Somebody who is full on a member of another branch of the human family, that's earth-shattering.
I mean, even if he's not and he's just old as hell, then, study his butt. They're going to want to study him just to see how he lived this long.
Right. Or at the very worst, what if he's not a caveman? What if he's just some guy that's been stranded out there with his family, hills have eyes style for years? Then you have an even bigger reason to go and check him out, because at that point it's a matter of humanitarianism. He's got no access to clean food or water.
He's drinking sulfur water, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Which they say is probably good for you. I mean, I'm no biologist. I'm going to guess that drinking sulfur water probably ain't too good for you.
Well, even if, let's say that that Greasy Dad actually was on the ball when it came to his theorizing. That the water in the cave was keeping this family of cavemen alive for ages and made them live extra long lifespans and so forth. Why aren't you telling anyone about that? Because I think a lot of people would be very interested in drinking nasty water if it would make them live for hundreds of years.
We've seen what people will do. Goop exists, so...
Oh, I mean, you got people on YouTube who are drinking, like, turpentine and bleach.
We've got those people who think that, what is it, the silver zinc or whatever is supposed to be good for them, and it turns their skin blue.
Oh,
What is that crap?
Colloidal silver. Colloidal silver.
Yeah, there it is, yeah.
And then when I'm saying like drinking bleach, I'm not talking about like in the meme sense. I'm talking about this thing they call miracle mineral solution.
Yeah, no, that's what I was talking about too, yeah.
Yeah, they got that. I mean, people drink all kinds of things if they think that it would make them live forever, and if it actually worked, I mean, you kind of owe it to science to tell people when you encounter this type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens when you don't? The caveman wanders down into town and gets shot by several cops at a really lame party.
Cops are really super gun happy in these movies. You ever notice that? I mean, they're also
Cops
really
are-
super gun happy in real life.
Yeah, I was about to say, but
Yeah. But it seems like even more so in movies because, this time they're also gunning down white people.
yeah. Also, can I ask a question? What was the purpose of the fist fight between the big
Arch
boy
Hall
and
Jr. and whoever
yeah,
at the end of the movie?
yeah.
I don't know. The only thing I can think of is maybe to give Arch some vague semblance of machismo because he's about to get his ass handed to him by Richard Kiel again.
Right, yeah.
Also, you want a fun fact?
Always.
The guy who gets thrown into the pool by Eegah earlier in the film?
Mm-hmm.
That's Ray Dennis Steckler of The Incredibly Strange Creatures blah blah blah.
Oh, that guy.
Yes, he worked on a couple of Arch Hall Sr.'s movies, apparently.
Wow,
And in fact, Arch Hall Sr. produced or distributed Incredibly Strange Creatures, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So we've also got this movie to blame for that.
The other aspect of this film that puzzles me is that everyone makes a big deal about Eegah being a big thing because he's a lost relic from another time, but no one ever stops to question the fact that Arch Hall Jr.'s character clearly has horrifying supernatural powers.
In that he can make guitars sound like that while being completely offbeat?
Every time he sings, a chorus of disembodied voices appears to provide backup. Like the souls of the damned are giving him the ooh-ah-ahs behind his various songs.
Both of the songs where that happens, Vicky and Valerie, or whatever their names were. Yeah, Vicky and Valerie. Both of those songs were apparently written by Arch Hall Sr.
You know, I didn't realize until after I watched the movie and I was doing research that the song Valerie was called Valerie. Because it sounds so much like he's saying gallery.
Well, it also sounds incredibly like Vicky. Just in general. The songs are nigh identical, near as I can tell.
Yeah.
I can see why Arch Hall Jr. decided he didn't want to have anything to do with this after a little while.
Yeah. Oh, and then there was the ending of the film, which has the single lamest reach for poignancy I've ever seen.
This is actually part of a Mystery Science cut. In the first, after she first encounters Eegah and is talking to the Leatherman, the Leatherface man in the restaurant, they actually cut a bit after the guy leaves and they just argue about it, and Rocky goes, "There were giants, the Bible says so." So they actually set that up.
I still declare it lame.
Oh, it is lame. It is intensely lame.
There were giants in those days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, except that if Eegah exists, that's disproving the thing that you connect to the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Because why didn't he drown in the flood?
Well, since we've kicked open that door, let's talk cuts. They cut a lot of music out of this one. They didn't whole hog cut any songs, but they trimmed some songs way the hell down.
Okay, well, that's understandable.
Yeah, and again, Arch. I was watching Arch's hands when he's not even close to what the music sounds like. So I'm wondering if he was just the vocalist for his band. I don't know. I couldn't be arsed to go look.
Yeah,
But they trimmed some of the Vicky song by the pool.
Mm-hmm.
After the Valerie song ends in the desert, we get a little. Now who's Valerie? Well, wouldn't you like to know? Yeah. And then they kind of putz around for sleep. Arch accidentally turns on his radio, which is setting up a plot point for about 2 minutes later. And they both start napping, and Eegah shows up in the camp.
Huh.
And he eats some of the food, and the ADR in this movie is so omnipresent and terrible.
Oh, yeah, because whenever someone is dubbed over, they sound like the voice of God.
Yeah. And he's just these gross eating noises when he's picking at the stew.
Right.
The radio randomly turns on again as he's about to paw Roxy some more, and then he does a Batman vanish somehow. Because they're in the middle of a big valley, and he just somehow vanishes out of sight as soon as the radio shows up. I mean, granted, Arch Hall Jr. and Roxy are both dumb as bricks, but
Richard Kiel is not a stealthy person.
no.
So was Watch Out for Snakes supposed to be there?
I don't know. There's a lot of lines that are clearly not being said by anybody, that are clearly just ADR'd in to fill up space. Oh, they also find Dad's camera, and he's like, well, he probably dropped it. Well, why didn't he pick it up? Well, it's broken. It's no good to him now. Aren't you little pustule? I mean, there's assuring your girlfriend that her father is probably all right, and then there's being an idiot.
Yeah, especially considering the fact that he had also noted that there were cougars in the area.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I've got they cut large chunks out of this movie.
That's fair.
There's not. They did cut after a lot of the really gross pawing sequences in the cave.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff that really makes you feel terrible. She convinces Eegah to go outside, and then we get like this extended sequence where she's kind of fending him off as he's like trying to peel off her clothing, and the music is actually somehow going Victoria. This swelling as if this is. And it's not like a tension swell. It's an action sequence-y kind of swell. It's horrifying.
And her dad does not do much to...
Oh, her dad is terrible.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I don't have much notes between this cut and the next cut, except for one thing. And maybe the audience can help us out, but Joel, Arch Hall Jr. gets knocked over... And Joel goes,
come on, you stupid Zinge.
What?
Come on, you stupid Zinge.
I'm all for a creative insult, but I have actually tried to Google that, and I have no idea what he's calling him.
Yeah, I've never heard that one either. Maybe it's regional?
Possibly. I'm not even 100% sure how you spell it. It's weird, but... Yeah, there's... Okay, so they run. We've got another big cut where after they finally get away from him, he returns to his cave. And they cut here because this is where they cut into like their third sketch.
Mm-hmm.
But Eegah goes in, talks to his dead relatives, and cries some, and it's very dramatic. Yeah. And then some more desert wandering because he's decided he's got to go find her. And just wandering and wandering, he finds a pool and drinks the water and hates it. And then we've got, I'm not surprised they cut this because it's not funny, but we've got a comedy scene coming. Because Eegah hides in some trees, and all of a sudden you see a drunk husband and his angry wife. and she throws away his bottle, and he goes to get it, and uh-oh, giant, bleh, walks up to his wife, hands her his car keys, I've had enough, and falls over.
Wow.
Comedy was attempted. The one last big cut is that last song about the old dirt road or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where he doesn't take his horse?
Yeah.
That song is way truncated in the Mystery Science version. Again, cut for commercial, but that song goes on about 3 times as long.
Mm-hmm.
And there is, of course, and because this is all ADR'd, there is no applause at the end. The dad forgot to put in applause. And then we've got this scene where not Vicky.
Come on, you stupid Zinge.
Roxy is staring longingly, and Dad goes, no, I completely understand why you're doing this. Here's the quote, getting as far away as possible from that music is a good idea, but there's guests here. I'm liking how Arch Hall Sr. is negging his own son in this movie.
Now, I
can't imagine why Arch Hall Jr. didn't do this for very long.
Yeah, well, I'm going to put in a zinger that I thought up, but I didn't have time to insert earlier, which is it's fitting that this movie had so much cut out of it, because, man, it cut a lot out of me.
Yeah.
It
is interminable at points.
It's very much the type of film that Pinhead would make. Not the one that everyone would think he would make, which is a Hellraiser movie. No, this is one that is exquisite torment.
It is slow. It's not even mean. It's just...
Yeah, it's...
careless?
Gross. Like, I dislike the use of that word in general. I think it's not well executed in most cases. But yeah, this is kind of a gross movie. It's greasy. It focuses a lot on Richard Keel's mouth. And you know me, I have a thing about people's nasty mouth sounds and the flapping of human meat flaps and things like that.
I spend a fair amount of time on any of our products cutting out all of my...
Oh, yeah.
Because that happens. I cut a lot of that. And I'm fairly I'm more sympathetic to Arch Hall Jr. than I was before. I mean, that doesn't make him less punchable in this movie, because he abso-fucking-lutely is.
I mean, it excuses a little bit of his quality that he probably didn't want to be there in the first place.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what made this kid think that he was an actor? Oh, pressure from his parents.
Yeah.
His parent, who doesn't play his dad in this, where, you know, a familial resemblance would make sense, and, you know, so forth. No,
he plays the father of this girl who... Yeah, in the episode guide book, I went and reread that as well. The brains apparently were taking bets. They were fairly convinced that Arch Hall Sr. was shacking up with the girl who played Roxy.
Yeah.
It has that kind of really uncomfortable... It had a really uncomfortable vibe.
Oh, yeah, I can definitely see that. Because it does have a really
unsubstantiated.
Vibe.
Amusingly, the Wikipedia article mentions that. But it's...
But, you know, if he wasn't, then at the very least, it does give you the feeling that he cast himself in that role, and specifically for that shaving scene. That has a...
All I hear is Phelan going, inappropriate!
Yeah, the shit...
If I didn't know if they were dancing, I'd swear this was a fight. They're all like 10 feet apart from each other and lightly gyrating. What the shit?
Yeah, his whole character is there to mock, the very thing he's trying to get his son a career doing.
Yeah. I can absolutely see why the sketches for this episode took the tone it did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can see why they're largely not retaliatory, as they often are, and they're not, straight up mocking. They are. We've got like 3 of them where they're trying to find solace.
Yeah.
Shall we talk? Let's talk sketches.
Sketches are the bright spot of this one.
Broken puppets are funny. The broken robot puppets are funny. The shattered crow, anytime they melt one of the bots.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, they kind of went pretty hard for the props in this one.
Yeah, they were definitely doing a lot of stuff with the props in this one.
Like, you got the big freeze chamber, the 2 different broken crows.
Yeah.
We've got the Archhall Jr. face maker thing that they strap Joel into.
Yeah.
Which, I gotta say, there's something about the bots abusing Joel that is funnier than the bots abusing Mike.
It's
I don't know if it's the rarity or...
I think it's the rarity, and it's the fact
Yeah.
that they're like getting back at their creator as opposed to just some schlub who's stuck with them.
It does remind me of a bit more of like the season 1 dynamic.
And it smells bad too.
That was an elaborate rig they put Joel into, and I can't imagine the feeling of having that pigment sprayed on his face from behind. That's
gross. But
and then the popcorn sketch was them kind of working out some issues with. I'm not quite sure how I feel about that sketch. I mean, it's certainly a phenomenon, and it's one that hadn't gone away yet because this seems to be taking up so much of my life now. I mean, it was a major factor of Baywatch.
Yeah.
You had your single dad.
Yeah, I think what kind of rings off about that is the implications they have that the representation of single families was causing some kind of harm.
Yeah, there's one line there, and it does, and I'm like, I don't know about that. But then Crow turns around and says, "But we've got lots and lots of love," and that's something you just don't get in a 2-parent household. I'm like, okay, I'm kind of not sure how to process this one.
Yeah.
They do bring up an interesting point that I was thinking about it, and the only families that I definitely know had the mother and father outside of Leave It to Beaver, you're basically looking at the Munsters and the Addams Family.
Pretty much, yeah. There was one thing that I did like about the sketches was they had a couple of the sketches where they were just talking about shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked that they contextualized them with them doing sort of mundane activities while they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have the thing where Joel's trying to make the popcorn. He doesn't realize the popcorn popper the heat source isn't turned on. And then the other one is he's when they're talking about like when hell began for you, he's using Crow as a body model to do alterations on a shirt.
Yeah, there was something I just noticed. I had not noticed this until rewatching it this time. That every time Joel pulls a pin out of the pincushion in Tom's head, Tom does a little pop. He actually does a tiny little jump and pop. I hadn't noticed that after so many years.
It's a nice little piece of world building that they do with those scenes.
Yeah.
I appreciated that.
I also firmly approve of them, pointing out, fuck Yahoo Serious.
Yep.
I mean, what the hell? Y'all youngins don't realize what a bullet was dodged that day.
When America finally decided it had had enough of Yahoo Serious.
and we as a people said no to Yahoo Serious. I actually saw his movie, and oh my God. I mean, I didn't have the most developed taste at the time, but even that was just... And Sticks. Yeah, I can see that.
Yep.
And speaking of not right, Frank's sigh when Dr. Forster turns on his radiator. That's wrong.
I did like the Frank Radiator, and it stealing his blood sketches. I thought those were...
That's some pretty prime Forrester and Frank right there, and we are at the point where Frank has gotten a lot better with acting.
Mm-hmm.
Could I possibly have my blood back? The pork arena, that to me feels like somebody on the crew found this giant pig plush toy.
Yeah.
And thought about a way to justify buying that for work. That was like, how can I turn this into a tax write-off?
Yeah. One of the things that's remarkable about this sort of era of Mystery Science Theater is it is full of references to stuff that's really old that you still got because at the time there weren't that many channels and reruns were everywhere.
Syndication was still a pretty huge thing.
Right. Which is something that has changed over time, because now if you make a reference to something from 2002, half the room is shrugging. And it doesn't matter how big it was.
Hell, at this rate you can make something from 2012 and people be like, we've just been beaten down. And it is also amusing. Yeah, this is season 5, and they were really coming back strong at this point, I think. I want to say that season 5 is some of the strongest Joel stuff.
Yeah, season 5 was good. It kind of had a dip there before then, but
late season 4 was on the upswing, but season 5 really seemed, which is a little, ironic given that it's, the end of his run, but but he went out strong.
Yeah, went out strong. Oh, Eegah. I mean, this is the type of movie that you only make because you know you have a Richard Keel lying around.
It's a movie where somebody saw a 7-foot man and thought, how can I buy this and write it off as a work expense on my taxes?
It's too hot.
And unfortunately, Vince McMahon wasn't working at the point yet, so he got snapped up by...
There's something about Crow just grumbling about things in character. And it doesn't matter how far separated they are, because he does it in Carnival Magic too, and it's just as good. It transcends era and actor.
Like all 3 Crows. Something about Crow, just all the people they've had as Crow, at least on the in the videos. Apparently there's somebody else doing him in the live show. I think the current live show doesn't have anybody from the Netflix series at the moment.
Oh.
Which is a little surprising, but whatever. But no, all 3 of the video Crows are very good at just getting dying. Also, while we're talking Joel, there's something that I haven't had much opportunity to do. He does weird reactions incredibly well. He cracks me up when, Arch Hall is running / stumbling down, a dirt incline. Oh, my pants. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's really good at that. It reminds me a lot of, Eddie from Baywatch.
Yeah.
He's really...
Now, be fair, not Eddie from Baywatch. Lupa's version.
Yeah, Allison's version of Eddie. I mean, it's that he's very good at that. Yeah. No, sorry about my face.
the sort of super weenie type of thing. Weenie and man away.
Just Joel does some things that just kill me every time. I like his devil snake thing. Ah, it's me, Satan. It kind of makes me wish his TV wheel thing had been better.
Yeah.
I don't know how much more there is to talk about with this one. I mean, it's for something so long and so notable, there's not much to it.
It's all boring shots in the desert and water in your tires. Just
mediocre songs. I will say that none of the songs are bad.
No,
they're just not.
They do kind of remind me of some song that I've never heard of that Bethesda got cheap that might pop up on the radio in Fallout.
Yeah. Like I said, Vicky and Valerie sound incredibly similar.
It's somewhat believable for a kind of, a kid in a bad high school band.
Yeah, except this is a grown-up who wants his kid to be in high school.
Right, yeah. Except that you're not going for realistic here. You're going for, you want this to be this kid's Viva Las Vegas. And it doesn't even have the energy of that Sodium band from that.
He actually shot some of these in his house. Some of the sequences were actually shot at his house. I'm not shocked, but
yeah, I'm like, I just assumed that was his house.
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't it be? He didn't pay for anything else in this film, obviously. It's like one of the ways that you can tell that this movie did not have much of a budget is that Eegah almost never actually hits anything with his club.
Yeah, I was a little impressed that they broke one door.
Yeah, but he doesn't shatter, unless I completely blanked out, he doesn't shatter the big store window.
No, the one window he breaks, he does it behind a bush so you can't see it.
Right. Where it doesn't cost them any money. And he doesn't do it with...
The only thing he wrecks is, he pulls a pool ladder out, but you can pull those out pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean, all they probably did there was unscrew it so he could pull it out. Yeah, he doesn't really cause any permanent damage. He doesn't ever really kill. No one but him dies in this movie. How is this a horror film?
I don't know.
Because at the most, he committed the crimes of disturbing the peace and criminal trespass, and I suppose aggravated groping.
Well, I mean, I hate to, say it, but he did come at the cops with, a weapon, but even then they shoot him 16 times.
Mm-hmm. And it's unclear if he's bulletproof or not, or semi-bulletproof.
Mm-hmm.
Because doesn't Tasty Freeze shoot him earlier in the movie, or does he actually connect with that one?
I'm not sure. Because the shots are so bad because he's at a base of a mountain cave, but Frosted Swirl is shooting upwards.
The thing is he does nothing even remotely as terrifying as what a bewildered chimpanzee might do in those circumstances. It's kind of hard to categorize him as a monster. Or even a tragic monster. He's just a big dumb guy that wanders around and gets shot.
But you know who did do illegal things? Arch Hall Jr. Played Hall in The Sadist, 1963. Hall portrayed a psychopathic killer based in part on teenage murderer Charles Starkweather. And then the following year, he was Britt Hunter in The Nasty Rabbit, a.k.a. Spies A Go-Go.
Well, if you're going to have a movie career where you're being yanked around by your father, you might as well go for range.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he was in one more movie, Deadwood 76, and then he was in nothing else.
All in all, a bizarre film. I'd say the Mystery Science Theater is worth watching. You want to have friends with you because it helps with the more boring ones. But
Yeah, it's a very solid episode. Like I said, they've come back strong. Their riffing is a little, I don't want to say meaner, but it's a little more pointed. A little less just random reference to thing you remember.
Mm-hmm.
It's
and this
it also helps that they've got a target.
Yeah, this does earn every point that they put on those jabs.
Yeah,
but
yeah, the sketches are really solid. Good, solid episode, I would say.
Yes, indeed.
I tell you what, I'm not. I both am and am not looking forward to following up with Ray Dennis Steckler. That's not what we're doing next, but we'll get to that eventually, and I am and am not looking forward to that one.
Oh yeah, that's.
I don't know if I could take watching the uncut version of that.
You know what? I'll make you a promise. You remind me when it happens, I'll watch the uncut version of that one.
Okay, you realize I am now in the Google Doc and I am looking for it.
To put my name next to it, yes.
Yes. Where is it? Incredible Melting Man. There it is. And Trent watches Unriffed, and I'm putting a red highlight on that I'm putting that in red text.
It's fair. You know what? You've taken a lot of bullets in that area. I'm willing to take that one for you because that's an ugly movie. That's an ugly movie, and I'll pay, and I'll hate it when it happens. But unlike you, I'm not a teetotaler, so I can go into it prepared.
Just make sure any notes you take are going to be coherent.
I won't get that.
It does
trashed.
no good if you don't remember any of it.
Oh, don't worry. I have become acutely aware of how uncomfortable things will break right through any kind of buzz.
You're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that, and you're gonna look at your notes, and it's gonna be butt that won't quit. Pretzel $14.
Well, you see, the thing is if you don't watch it, I can just make up whatever they do. Who's gonna check my work?
Don't fact check us.
And if anybody goes to fact check me, well, that's their own fault.
Yeah, you know what you were getting into. You watched a Ray Dennis Steckler movie on your own. You damn fool. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's click the Wikipedia link. Oh God, he's got a huge directors list, and only like 6 of them have pages. Only like 6 of these have pages. Wow.
Didn't he?
Oh my God! He directed Jefferson Airplane's White Rabbit music video.
Huh. He directed something in 2009?
We are in the worst timeline.
Yeah, we gotta save some of this from when we're actually watching that movie, but still.
Debbie Does Lost Vegas as Cindy Lou Sutters? What? Did he take on a female non-de-plume for things?
Yeah, for several. It looks like that was his go-to for the stuff that's blatantly pornographic.
Yeah.
Perverted Passion.
Teenage Dessert.
Black Garters.
Weekend Cowgirls. Wow, wait a second. There's a movie that he directed that is uncredited? Ray Dennis Steckler didn't want credit for something?
For Warcat.
Which does not have a link. Good Lord. Oh, we've really deviated.
Yep.
To this deviant.
Just like my septum. Anyway, this is Trent.
Yeah, we ought to be able to do these a little more frequently because I've got some break before the next, like throughout October is fairly clear, so. And also hopefully we can get some of these videos we've had scripted and have chunks of done. Actually get those done.
Yeah. All
and
right.
I'm about halfway through, actually probably more than that. I need to do a test run on putting up one of our old reviews once I get it YouTube friendly and clean it up to what I would call a standard I can live with.
Oh, well, everybody enjoy.
Yes.
Peace be with you.
Damn you for making the watch. I was hoping we could go the entire thing without saying watch out for snakes, just to piss people off. Just because I wanted a comment and why didn't you say watch out for snakes? And you ruined it, you Zinge.
Come on, you stupid Zinge.
I ruin all kinds of things. Hey, if you're good at something, you never do it for free.
Join our Patreon.
Good night, everybody.
Hey, Pipples! Did you like that bit of nonsense? Well then why don't you click like and subscribe and press that bell or whatever YouTube wants you to do?
You can also do us a big solid by joining our Patreon, where you'll get to join us for live streams, get early access to the newest videos, and other such things.